Okay, welcome to the Life Atelier podcast. I'm your host, Emma Lavelle, and this is the space where we practice the joy ambition method. You get the theory, and then if you're ready to implement it and actually start taking action steps, and you want support to do that because that's how we create success, you can join the Life Atelier coaching studio. So this month, March, it's March the 6th today. I'm just reintroducing us. You can get a 50% discount on the first payment. That is monthly or annual, which is pretty good, I will say. And we're going to be doing a special challenge to relaunch the podcast and to celebrate the Life Atelier membership and the new parts to it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what you have got inside the Life Atelier and why. I think this is really important to demystify coaching. A lot of people will ask me, like, well, what's the difference between like coaching and therapy and manifesting, right? And I think it came to me very, very clearly. I've done a training session on this before, but I think a big difference is number one, whatever's working for you already, if it's working, keep going, okay? That's absolutely fine. I'm never going to say like drop something and do it my way if you have something that works for you. But I would normally say therapy is for dealing with and healing things from your past that are affecting you now, okay? Coaching is about intentionally creating the future that you want from where you are now. Now, manifesting for me is about trusting that something external to you is going to create the thing that you want. Whereas coaching, we are decluttering our mind. So we're looking for those beliefs that we've accumulated that are not helpful. So it might be for you the belief that nobody wants to hear what you have to say. Okay, so you're not starting a podcast or you're not doing the business that you want to have. It might be the belief that this comes up a lot with my clients, that joy is frivolous, okay, or having fun is something that you do after you've done other things. And actually, what you're doing is you're saying, hey, that belief isn't mine. That came from my dad or the teacher, or, a belief that I'll always talk about is I have this idea that I'm messy and I'm chaotic. And it actually came from, I went to a Catholic primary school and we had nuns until I was about 6 or 7, and then they cleared them out to make way for the new world. Um, and I remember being called Featherbrain. And I also remember my tiny mum, who's very cute, taking my homework and ironing it before it went to school because little mum is quite a perfectionist and she likes everything to be very proper. So I got this idea very early on that I was very cluttered and chaotic and messy, and that will still appear. The truth is, the reality is that I am exceptional at creating strategies, at structure, at simplifying, the very opposite of chaos, okay? So what I have to do is notice that these are the beliefs that were taking up space in my brain. That's okay. I'm a human. We all have these things. And then intentionally tidying them, removing them, creating space for the beliefs that are actually helpful for the life that I want to be living. And that's what we're doing with coaching. We're really working with our mind. And do not underestimate how powerful this is. Everything in your life is a result of the thoughts that you have in your mind. The great example is, I think it's a quote from Ford, but it's whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Okay. And it's a very simple quote, but it's very powerful. It really gets to it. And I think it's one of the best ways to express how coaching works. So I want you to think about something that you want to do right now. Like, let's say, and I mean what you really want. Okay. So if you're thinking, like, yeah, I'd like to do some exercise or go for a run. Do you want to do exercise and go for a run? Or do you want to feel good in your body? Do you want to have more energy? Okay, because those are two different things. If we're focusing on wanting to have more energy, wanting to feel good in your body, wanting to feel strong, wanting to feel agile, flexible, wanting to feel like a monkey in a playground, okay, then that is going to make going for a run much easier, right? If you just want to go for a run, have at it, right? But most of us, there's a reason on the other side of it. And now picture yourself doing it, and then think to yourself, I don't have time. or I can't. I need to do some exercise at home first, or I can't, right? Just that thought, I can't. Okay. Now I want you to think the same thing. So connect with that feeling of like, oh yeah, it feels really good to be strong, to be powerful in my body. And now ask yourself, okay, let's have that thought. I can do this. It's easy. It's easy. 5 minutes will be enough. Today, 5 minutes. Okay. I put my trainers on, I can do it. And just notice like how differently does your body feel with those two options? Which of those two thoughts do you think is more likely to create the result of you actually running, which will then create the actual result that we want, the thing that you want, which is feeling good in your body, feeling strong? And if you're like, I don't know, then listen again. Do it properly. Pause, connect with your body, really visualize. Okay. So, the reason that I'm sharing this with you is because I've created this studio structure for the Life Atelier to make this as easy as possible. Inside the Life Atelier, you will have a foundation course and it will teach you the 6 tools that I use again and again and again that are ways to manage your mind. So you even have things like, what to do if you're procrastinating and you feel anxiety, how to get out of that. We look at how to make a dream that how to set goals that you're so excited about that you're like a kid at Christmas and you're like, yeah, I can't wait to do this thing. Okay. And it helps you get through the scariness. We also look at how to set boundaries, how to protect your time, how to protect yourself. There is no point achieving your dream life if you half kill yourself to get there, right? And I've got podcast interviews coming up with Atelier members who have done that. They have created their dreams, but the cost was so great on themselves, on their health, that they didn't want to do it again, right? And they almost created a burnout from doing it and then needed that recovery time. So, what we're learning to do, the whole point of the Joy Ambition method, is that you're able to feel good, feel present, feel alive, feel connected, feel joy as you're creating your goals. And we do that by breaking them down into monthly projects. So, the Joy Ambition method, you've got your initial 6 tools, then we have monthly projects. And that way we move faster and faster, right? And I want you to think about, the year and just imagine that we're in March 2026. Oh my God, in flying cars by this point, obviously, the flying cars have arrived. And you're looking back and you can see each month an amazing project that you completed. And you're like, shit, that's the month where I got the speaking gig. That's the month where I met my partner, right? That's the month where I set up my nonprofit. That's the month where I let go of the thing that I had been holding on to for years. That's the month where I finally told my, whoever, the thing that I'd been avoiding telling them. And you can really see your evolution, like each month, like you evolving. And there's this concrete thing that you can refer back to. Super, super fun. So, how we do this is we get out of the theory, right? We clean up, we declutter your brain, we put the things that we want in there, and then we take action. Because the biggest problem most of us have is we're scared of failing. Because we're scared of failing, we get stuck in this luxurious situation where we're doing busy work and we really feel like we're doing a lot of things. But what we're actually doing is we're avoiding failing. Now, you can do it on your own. You can try to do it on your own. I know that I did that for years because I thought that I couldn't either afford support or I felt it was somehow more valuable if I worked it out myself, which is just nonsense, right? When you look around you at the people that have the things that you want, what you will notice, a common denominator, is most of them are getting support. Not only are they getting support, they're choosing support. And they're choosing whatever support they can have for where they are right now. So if you want to run, it may be that running with people gives you a much greater chance of success. Or it might be that actually you work with your coach and then you create that commitment and then you do it. It might be that knowing yourself and adding treats at the end. What worked for me when I think the only time that I've had a running habit was when I was living in Melbourne, and the girl I was living with was amazing and she was super into running. And we would run, and then we would get an oat milk latte and walk back through the park. And I loved that. I loved having that treat at the end to like actually have the conversation. Even though I really struggled with the run, I love that connection at the end. So knowing your values, knowing how you work, these are all things that build you and set you up for success. So what we do is we have 4 connection points where it's actually on camera each week. We've got the Dream Lab coaching calls Tuesday and Thursday. And then immediately afterwards, when you are like high on the energy of, I can do this, I'm unstoppable, we have the co-working sessions, and I call them get it done sessions, so that you can harness that energy and immediately implement it. Okay. This is what works for me. This is what works for the people that I coach. It is acknowledging the fact that your motivation and your commitment and your self-confidence will fluctuate. And it will fluctuate depending on your hormones. It will fluctuate depending on what is happening in the world. It will fluctuate depending on, how tired you are, how you feel in your body, how the weather is, right? We've all got weather that we feel unstoppable with. And then we've got weather where we're like, oh, I don't really want to do anything today. Okay, so having those anchor points in the week where you can either get coached, or you can see others get coached. Others get coached, that was hard to say. Followed by immediate action and implementation, just is magical, right? And I really think about, for me, it's the same as my yoga studio. I started by scheduling 1 session a week, protecting that. Then it was 2 sessions a week, then 3, then 4, then 5, right? And it was the anchor point. Okay. I knew that whatever else happened during the day, however much stress, whatever emotions I experienced, I would be on my mat, my teacher would be there, and I would process those feelings and process those emotions. I didn't need to worry about doing more coaching because I knew that at this point, it would be the time to look after my body. Okay. Now you may have the body stuff down and you're like, no, I'm good. Like I go to the gym, I go running, I have my things that I use for my body, but your mind feels full of anxiety and it's overwhelmed and there's lots of rushing thoughts. So in that case, think of these coaching points as how you do that decluttering and how you create that space in your brain. So that's it, loves. Coming up, we're doing the Untangle Your Life bootcamp. No, I don't want to use that word. I don't want to call it a boot camp, challenge. And this is because I had so much fun. What started as a simple €11 offer that was going to be these 2-minute audio trainings a couple of months ago, I turned into a project. And I made videos for each of them. I made journal prompts, a workbook. Like I went to town. Now, right now, we are focusing on the Life Atelier because, as I said, it's so important for me that you get that coaching support and that you're seeing the faces, right? I love the connections that are happening in our community. And I was thinking about you listening to this and the similarities between me and how much I valued and loved podcasts at different points in my life. So I thought, let's get our community going. Okay, so we're going to have the free community will be on Substack. I will be publishing a video as well as this podcast audio each day for the next 30 days. They're almost scheduled, which is very exciting. If you want the actual course version and you want to get all of them right now, you can grab that. It will be in the shop for €11. And if you want to just immediately implement, it's included in the Life Atelier membership. And this month, as I said at the start, there is an offer which is 50% off your first payment, whether that is monthly or it is annual, which is amazing. I think it's like 400 and maybe it's 435 instead of 970. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And that's euros for those of you outside of Europe, if you have the mighty pound or the mighty dollar. So yeah, all the information will be in show notes or around this. Do come and join us with the Substack community. I will try to post little snippets on Instagram as well. But we all know what happens with Instagram. The algorithm just kind of whooshes things past. So if you do want to share what you're doing, you want to get that coaching support, if you have got the course version, then come and join us. And I will be back tomorrow for Untangle Your Life on the Life Atelier podcast.